The driving mission at Go Sports is to bring you the best paintball content and broadcast in the world, behind the scenes, in the pits, and on the field. To continue this mission, we're rolling out a renovated website platform across the board, with easier search functions and a more robust chat system for better interaction with your fellow fans. Dive farther into the game with a new integrated stats portal. Get your insight into the game anytime, anywhere, with an improved functionality across all mobile devices. Check it out now on gosports.com. Don't miss the most important battle of the year. The best paintball teams and players in the world will be fighting for the title at the NXL World Cup, going down in Orlando, Florida, November 7th through the 10th. Broadcast live only on gosports.com.
Welcome to Go Sports Tactics. I'm Matty Marshall, and I got Mark Johnson here from AC Diesel. Going to be breaking down a match he had in the quarterfinals at Ultimate Shootout.
When we got matched up, we're like, we can't lose this one. If there's an opportunity, I'm going to attack, and that's what I wanted to do in this match here. This particular deal right here, I knew he was going up to the center. I had to counter that, or he could walk right up in there to the center of the field and hit that buzzer.
So you go left-handed real quick, and then you cut back and then switch hands and go right for that bonus buzzer.
If they're going for the buzzer, you need to start moving for the buzzer as well, because there's an opportunity there. All you do is go super low, you go right for that buzzer. It's a 80% chance you're going to get it.
You're going blow for blow with one of the most aggressive dudes that we have in this competition. You actually get to the buzzer before he does here, and then he's the one that trips and falls.
What's up?
All right, welcome back here. Go Sports Live. I'm Matty Marshall. I got Mark Baginski in the house, and we got Mark's debut here on the show. And, you know, he plays for AC Diesel, and I thought, man, what a hell of a performance that Mark had in the Ultimate Shootout, at least leading into this match that he's got that we just saw in the semifinals with Jesse Stevens, but punching his ticket into the finals. And not only punching your ticket, Mark, into the finals, but also your ticket into the finale, playing for a chance to win $7,000, which is going to be pretty nasty. We're going to get your story. We're going to hear your story in the Ultimate Shootout. We're going to have you on the Tactics Show as well, too, breaking down that win that you had against Jesse Stevens. You are going to be matched up against the winner of the Clint Johnson Meter Ninos match. Meter Ninos made it into the finals at the first Ultimate Shootout. I also want to get your thoughts on Ultimate Shootout number 3. But yeah, so we got a decent amount to talk about. But first of all, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, it's summer in San Diego, which is not as gnarly as summer in Texas, as I got a little slice of the couple times I drove out there. But I'm sure you guys are just melting under the summer sun right now, right?
We've had like 3 days of 100, and it says it's supposed to start cooling down this weekend, but I'll believe it when I see it. So,
all right. So I want to pick your brain on a bunch of things. Again, you just took down Jesse Stevens in the semifinals. You were the underdog there. And I just thought that this was a breakout performance for you. You're going to be playing the winner of Clint Johnson and Meter Ninos, which again is going to Monday Night Paintball. We're going to be running these Ultimate Shootouts from here until Kingdom Come on Monday nights. We've already got plans for 5, 3, and 4 already in the books. You know, Mark, I do want to get your thoughts on that. Also, everyone calls you Ice. I feel like it's weird calling you Mark because literally when we were there, nobody called you Mark. Everyone was just calling you Ice. You were, yeah, which is funny because our producer, Darren Sesenya, we call him the Iceman too. From when I heard why they call you the Iceman, it's apparently because you're calm. Like the worse things get, the more chill you get. And that's the exact same reason that we gave Darren the nickname the Iceman, you know, like Top Gun, Maverick and Goose, and the Iceman. Anyway, so let's just real quick. I just can't before we kind of dive into your story, talk about Ultimate Shootout, all this different stuff we got going on. Also, we got Mark Baginski coming on here, the Iceman coming on for the Tactics show. He's going to be breaking down that win against Jesse Stevens, a big, again, huge underdog there. When you're looking at the accolades that a guy like Jesse Stevens has on, on his sleeves and on his belt as far as achievements are concerned. But yeah, how the hell did you get the nickname the Iceman?
So yeah, I mean, there's Mark Johnson that plays on Diesel as well. So there was like 2 Marks, and it was a big communication problem while we were on the field. And then Greg watched this documentary about this dude named Richard Kuklinski, and he was a hitman for the mob, and he lived his like family life, and then he lived his like paintball life. And I have like my work life, or what I am outside the field, and then once I'm inside the net, I'm a totally different person. So my last name's Baginski, his last name's Kuklinski, both Polish people. He kind of like both are kind of like just like monotone, chill kind of guys. So he was like, "What if they call you Iceman?" I'm like, "I don't know."
So you kill people for the mob is what you're trying to tell me. Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
I can't tell you that.
Can neither confirm nor deny these rumors. Well, I did see that because when they kept calling you Ice, so it was. Let me just give you a little perspective to everyone out there for my own experience. So, we get Ultimate Shootout 1. You were up in our tower running the smoke machine, and AC Diesel they just got to pros. I've only seen you guys on that center court a couple times. You're a younger dude. You've never come up. I always tell, hey, everyone out there, come and introduce yourself to me so I know who the hell you are, and also tell me how to pronounce your name. Mark Baginski is pretty easy, but sometimes people have complicated names. Please come and help me. Help me help you. Just tell me how. I mean, like for instance, Greg Sewers. We went like 8 years before he finally came up to me and was like, "Yo, dude, can I talk to you for a second? My name's not Sewers, it's Sewers." And I was like, "Bro, I've literally known you since you were 16 years old, and now you're gonna tell me this is what your name is?" Anyway, so
I thought it was Sewers the whole time too.
Everybody did, but now I officiated his wedding too, and I was sweating bullets during that wedding because I was like, don't mess this one up, don't mess. Yeah, like, okay, Sewers, all right, okay, I nailed that one. But it was like that the entire ceremony. Anyway, so you're chilling up in the booth, running a smoke machine, and you were, cracking jokes and being fun and respectful, but like hardworking. And I was like, oh, this kid from the field is like pretty cool, And then, and we were kind of talking a little bit back and forth, but I didn't know you were the guy that was going to be coming into play in the Ultimate Shootout that we're watching now. And then you left, and I was like, "Hey, who the hell is that kid?" And they're like, "That's Mark Baginski." And I was like, "Oh, that's Mark Baginski, the guy who's playing in the next episode." They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, okay, tight." I wish you guys would tell me this stuff a little bit ahead of time, but that's cool. But then once you got on the field and started playing against in that crazy match against BJ, because then so we had Mark up there for that, Mark Johnson, and we got Mark Johnson coming on the show tomorrow, by the way. Much longer history in the game than yourself, because he's old as dirt and you're not. He's old enough to be your dad, but anyway, I'm a gray beard too, so it's all good. You'll be there as well one day. But when you got on that field, I was immediately impressed, bro, because not only the way you played the game, but it was the fact that you didn't let a tough guy like BJ get in your head and you were trying to get in his head. And then you were kind of like, the way I was describing it is that you were like that snarky younger brother that when in the middle of an argument, so he would say something like, he'd be like, "He cheated." And you'd be like, "No, I didn't." And then he'd be like, "Yes, he did." And then he did this. You'd be like, "No, you did that." Like you try to turn around back on him. And then you were trying to get in his head, and you just refused to give mentally or physically. And then you guys went blow for blow. So I want to talk about that game. I want to talk about your game against Jesse. But I wanted to tip my hat to you because, through those first 2 games, obviously you're going to be playing in the finals, and we got everyone to tune in and see what happens there. Maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't. But it was just a really good look for a young guy like yourself. I thought, again, both the mental tenacity that you showed in really crucial moments, calls were definitely going your way. I do want to talk about that a little bit. But you stayed in the mid. You stayed mentally there, and you were just kind of poking the bear the whole time, trying to get in your opponent's head and not squander an opportunity to potentially get one mentally over and on your opponent. Then with the Jesse Stevens match, obviously want to talk about that one. Now, we are going to be breaking that one blow for blow down when we have you on the tactics show here. So we'll save the intricate discussion for that, obviously, but I do want to get your thoughts about that battle. But let's just start with your story. Like, how the hell did you get here where you're getting the nod to come play in the Ultimate Shootout? Because there's a lot of people that, you know, the Ultimate Shootout crew could have hit up in Texas to come and play this, but they decided to give you the nod. So let's just kind of start at the beginning and then take me to the point where you're getting that call from Greg Pauly where he's like, yeah, bro, you're in. Do you want in? You're like, probably were like, yeah, of course I want in. For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me your story.
So, yeah, from the beginning, I guess, like, how I got into paintball was just, like, birthday party. Had a friend's birthday party, went out, played. I'd played airsoft before, and I always thought paintball was, like, the bigger brother of airsoft, and we weren't ever old enough to play paintball, so that by the time we were old enough, we went out to multiple birthday parties, and then I was like, for my birthday, I was like, okay, I want a gun. And I was like, okay, now I have a gun. Now I was 12, 13, around that age.
And you're,
I was about
20, so. What are you, 22 now? How old are you?
22, yeah. Yeah,
22, yeah.
So, we were playing at this field Extren that is closed down now, but I got a gun, so I was like, okay, I got to play because I got to be good if I have a gun. So, and then fast forward to playing like actual paintball. There's this team, North Texas Shockwave, that pretty much all the kids in the area would play on. Nate Roberts came from that team, and a bunch of the original AC Dallas guys came from that team. We would go out, play. Then there was an AC Dallas tryout. All the really good people left, and there's just a bunch of kids. A couple of years later, we started a team called Texas Phalanx. We did like one event in D4. We had 2 years in D3. Won the regional series USXBL. That was or I guess it's still the regional event series going on that I ref now. And then 4 of us actually left Phalanx and got to go try out for Diesel down in Austin. And like, I felt like I had never been able to, like, never really knew what paintball was or what real strategy was. When I saw those dudes play, I was like, this is insane. And so, of course, I accept the opportunity to play with them. 3 years later, grinding out in the semi-pro division, we finally get our ultimate goal of earning the pro spot. And how I kind of got the call for the one-on-ones is, what was it, 2 years ago? Greg Pauly did this one-on-one tournament within the team for a Top Gun championship, like WWE style belt. And I beat, I think it was Fuzzy, and then someone else who was on our divisional team. And I stayed up there at second place. I could never beat, Shorty was the title holder pretty much the whole season, and Shorty beat Sean Sacedo. And I could never beat him. I think I challenged him like 3 times. I just could never beat him. So then whenever the Ultimate Shootout was going on and I didn't get the invite at first, I was like, hey, Greg, like, what's up? Like, Shorty and I, we're like the better players on Diesel, and you got, I mean, Clint's a good player, Mark's a good player, and their personalities outside, but I'm like, hey man, if you want like people actually play, like, what's up? He's like, well, maybe in future episodes.
Hey everyone, by the way, get used to this, because this is what Mark's like, dude. This is what the Iceman's like. Talks mad shit, and it's like just kind of little barbs. You throw daggers, dude. You just throw like little quick daggers at people that, like, people are like, wait, was he talking shit right now? I think he was. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
I'm a blunt person. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's no. So yeah, it was like, And then Archie had some plans like last minute that came up or something, some sort of schedule conflict. And he called me like the week of. He's like, "Hey, you want to play?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I've been chomping the bit. Like, of course I want to play a one-on-one tournament. Are you kidding me? Like, yes, I'm all about it." So I was super stoked. And I had a very good advantage getting to watch all these dudes get tired in the morning sun and then come in nice and fresh at about like 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. and give it to BJ a little bit. So
That's so good, dude. You totally remind me, bro. I'm just saying, this is why I've become a fan. You remind me of us when we were, because I got 20 years on you exactly, and you just remind me of us coming up, dude. Like tall, skinny kid, like respectful, but talks mad shit at the right exact time, just enough to like make it fun and funny. Like I'm telling you, you remind me of all the dudes on the Ironman that I came up with, and the Avalanche guys back in the day, like. That's who you remind me of that. Because you play like
play for Excessive.
Yeah, exactly. I was texting with Davey earlier. Yeah, exactly. Now we need to get you a little facial hair because like we had like kind of some, we're starting to get some beards at that point in time. But no, it'll come. Don't worry. At least you still got way more hair than I got. So overall. But yeah, but yeah, it was funny because when we're hanging out, you're working the smoke machine. I was just thinking like, oh, this kid's cool. Like, is he like ref here or is he like a local D3 kid? Like, who is this kid? And then you like walk down to get water. I think you even asked me like, "Hey, Matty, you want a water?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I was like, "Hey, Joe, who the hell is that dude?" And he's like, "That's Mark Baginski." And I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, it all makes sense now." But you were up there just kind of taking notes on everyone's style and just kind of waiting for it. But then I asked you, I think I even said something like, "All right, well, this is your chance to get more paintball famous. Like, what do you think about it?" And you just didn't even bat an eye. You're like, "Bro, I'm gonna smash on these dudes." And I was like, "Okay, oh, all right, this kid's confident." And then you go out and play BJ. Let's talk about this first match. We'll
Sure.
talk a little bit more about Diesel and that sort of stuff, but let's talk about the most current relevant stuff. So you get matched up with BJ. What was your first thoughts upon that matchup? Because you are obviously, you're a Texas guy. He's a Texas dude. You're probably super familiar with his play style. I don't know how much you played against BJ. I'm guessing it's probably a ton. You also watched him play that first, quarterfinal match. You probably knew what he was going to be bringing to the table obviously he's a physical beast, dude. That dude is blazing fast. He's hyper aggressive. He's mentally very tough. He's not going to be scared at all. So you knew you had to kind of meet fire with fire a little bit. But just before we even get into the actual match, what did you think about the matchup? When you first drew BJ?
I was like, okay, like it's gonna be war. Like this dude's gonna be running around all around the field. Like I don't really have a game plan for him other than to try to match him as best I can. I know I have him beat on gun skills just because that's a big part of my play style. Well, in the pro division, you kind of need it too, but I knew I had him on gun skills. Just keeping track of him on the field and buzzers. That was I knew that was where he was gonna excel. Is definitely going for buzzers. So it was definitely a little nervous.
But yeah. Yeah, but that's what I'm wondering, because dude, I remember, to be honest, we always, you had your the dudes that needed a piss, or it was like pissers and pukers before games back in the day, because we had a little bit more preamble back when I was coming up, because you only played 3 games a day when I first came up, and then you would play 3 games the next day, afternoon bracket or morning bracket. So you really didn't and there wasn't points, it was just games. So there was a lot riding on that moment, that you didn't really have a lot of time or different points or games to squander your opportunity to do well. So it was very nerve-wracking when we first came up, because you're going to play these legends, and if you didn't perform, you rode the bench, and the axe was sharp, man. If you didn't perform enough, your ass would get cut, and that's just how it was. So we had your pisses and your pukers, the dudes that needed to pee right before the game that felt like their teeth were floating, even if they had just peed like 2 seconds before. And then like my boy Davey, who we were just talking about, he was a puker. He'd be like tough dude. He'd fight in the alley at the drop of a hat against multiple dudes and not be scared of that. But he would pace before a game and then just start puking and then get ready to go, And then you got But let's talk about the nerves. Like, obviously, because you are highly touted and highly talented, but you haven't shown anything yet exactly because you guys just got here in the pro division. So now you're going up against guys like Jesse Stevens in the semifinals, guys like BJ who are proven. I mean, BJ kind of just got here a little bit too, but he had an amazing rookie year, rookie of the year type year, and we know what he's bringing. So it's got to be a little nerve wracking, right?
For sure, definitely a little nerve wracking. Yeah, a little bit, but I know BJ. I played with him. I know what to expect, so it's pretty familiar. But like the AC program, there's so much preparation in what we do for practice and everything. Divisional years, I had nerves and butterflies in my stomachs like every match. But then coming to the AC Dallas program, it's a diesel program. It was just like you have confidence in everyone you play with. You have confidence in the organization. So like even playing my first pro match in Vegas, I no butterflies in my stomach at all. I was totally focused and ready to go out and kill people. So like, and that BJ match, I was like, okay, yeah, I feel a little like butterfly, whatever. But as soon as that buzzer went and we started shooting guns, it's all familiar again, and all the bad thoughts kind of leave my head, and it's just all positive in the moment right there. So after that first point, I'm ice. I'm fine.
I like that. That's how you should be. But easier said than done. So let's talk a little bit about that match. So things you guys are going at each other. BJ is hyper aggressive. One point in time he was running around and he hit those 3 buzzers. So I do want to talk about the early strategy. I think at some point in time we will be breaking this game down, but there was a really big screw up from the officials. And we all missed it too, because there was so much chaos. And it was this is the very first weekend we ever did the ultimate shootout. So that includes all the players, all the refs, all the organizers, like everyone that's filming it, like the entire thing. No one had ever done it before. It had been done on a beta test with way less pressure for everybody. So, but just as you start off against BJ, you're trying to contain his aggression. You were trying to meet that aggression, kind of playing a little counterpunchy to what he was doing, but it was working. You guys hung in there. But then it got to the moment where he hits 3 buzzers in 1 point, and it looked like at least, because when you hit the bonus buzzer, all the buzzers go, right? So, and then you had to kind of do a tactical, like it wasn't really a tactical retreat, but he comes through, hits all the buzzers, and you guys go back towards each other in the center. I'm trying to get it out so it's on the camera. Yeah, so you guys are like going back towards each other towards the center, and then it looked like from the tower with all the smoke that you had hit the black buzzer. So if you go back, and if anyone's there and you guys have seen this, I'm sure people noticed it, because I noticed it when I went back and watched. But at the time, I'm saying, and so is Mark saying, we're like, it looks like, Ice got that center black buzzer as well too. 5 buzzers were just hit, but for poor BJ, like you didn't hit that black buzzer. He went through, hit all 3, and then so like take me to that moment. First of all, he's running around like a crazy, wild, aggressive maniac, hitting all these buzzers, and then you hit a buzzer too. But talk to me about that one specific point. Again, we will be breaking this down at some point, but just kind of talk to me about that situation.
Yeah, so I think that was point 2. So I'm still kind of feeling him out, warming him up, but he takes a bunch of ground, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to go for a buzzer 2 now, because he dropped his lane, so it's time for me to go. And then I see him at the orange buzzer. I hit the blue buzzer. I see his head duck down underneath the car wash, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to go try to bugger this dude out before he hits the blue buzzer, or the black buzzer, I should say. And then I run around the car wash. He's not there. I'm like, oh no. And like, I try to run around to catch him maybe before hitting the blue buzzer, or the orange buzzer. Or no, I guess it would be the blue buzzer. Yeah, on the car wash side. And he had already hit it. And so I came back, and then I finally find him and shoot him. And I was just like trying to make sure I got the points for the bonus blue buzzer. And like, we're trying to figure out if you got 2. And I'm like, in the moment, I'm like, I don't even know what happened. So I was like, did I hit it? Did I not hit it? I know my mic fell. So I was like worrying about that. And I was like, I don't know if I hit 2. Everyone on the side was like, yeah, you hit 2. I was like, I don't think I hit 2, but if you say I hit 2, then I guess I hit. Yeah. So I was like, I was like, I'm the rookie here. Like I'm gonna take every advantage I can. Like, if the refs screw up, the refs screw up. I mean, it's kind of a shitty way to win or get points, but it is what it is.
Look, and also BJ, if you're watching this, please text me back. I hit up Greg Pauly. I was like, hey, hit me with BJ's number. I texted BJ. I'm like, hey, what's up, bro, Matty Marshall? Can you text me back? Want to get you on the show to talk about your story and then Ultimate Shootout. But when I asked Greg, I was like, hey, Pauly, what's BJ's number? He was like 1-800 pissed off, and I was like, hey, dude, he should be pissed off. But so anyway, BJ, we want to hear it. You definitely got screwed. It is what it is. Now, I would say this, though. If you play enough tournament paintball, I don't care what type of tournament it is, you're going to get calls that go your way, and you're going to get times you get screwed. It's going to happen to everybody. Sure. This, that's just part of the game. And it's paintball. I grew up umpiring baseball. And baseball, we've talked about this on the show before. Guys that call balls and strikes at the highest level in the major leagues, they get those calls an inch on the strike zone, either for or against, either it's ball, strike. They get that wrong 33% of the time. And those are the most highly paid, most trained dudes. Some of them have been doing it for 2 decades or more. So they still get those calls wrong 33% of the time. It's crazy. Paintball is even harder to officiate. It's the hardest thing to officiate, I think, period. I don't think there's a harder sport to officiate. The refs blew it. The officials blew it. They gave you a buzzer you didn't get. And then so you got a blessing there, which again, from your perspective, hey, dude, if it was pass interference and the refs didn't call it, what are you gonna do? Go back and be like, you're gonna tell the ref. I was pass interference. Yeah, just bring it all the way. Bring it halfway to the end zone. It's fine. We only have the title on the line. So of course not. It just is what it is. So but I do feel bad for BJ that call didn't go his way. And then even though that was a miraculous point for BJ, he even said it. He's like, I dare anyone to come out here and try to hit all those buzzers. So that was nasty. And again, BJ, this is what I want your story told. So please hit me up. Or, next time you talk to BJ, tell him to hit me back up. But so then it goes forward, right? And then it starts to get super chirpy back and forth. And because BJ doesn't even know that just happened. Because if I was BJ, because he's running around crazy, he saw the buzzers. If I knew that you didn't hit a buzzer and they're about to give you those points, I would have been like, oh, dude, hell no, that score is completely off. We're not playing this next point until we get the score right. But he didn't say anything. You didn't say anything. And again, it's like old school, the point where Will Ferrell like blacks out and gives that speech, and then they're at like, oh my God, that was amazing. It's like, I don't even remember what happened. I just completely blacked out there. So, but sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment, that's kind of what it's like, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I was like they're like, no, you got it. And I was like, I don't know what happened. I said, I don't know what happened. I blacked out. And I remember, I think it was Trey or someone that was doing paint for the bits. They're like, yeah, just go with it. Just go with it. I'm like, I don't know. At that time it's so hot. And then like I said, my mic fell and just running around. I'm just trying to get ready for the next point. I don't know if I hit that buzzer or not. Even the weeks coming, I was asking people like, are you sure I hit that buzzer, dude? Like, I don't remember hitting that second buzzer. And like 4 people were like, no, they all said, or they're all like, yeah, you got it. And I was like, I don't remember my hand hitting it, but I don't remember a lot about most paintball points. So I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. So then it moves on. And then there was another instance where, he goes through again on that car wash side, he gets shot and then shot you afterwards. It was pretty bang, but went back and watched it. It was definitely, that's one of those ones that's at the ref's discretion. If you're a huge BJ fan, it's like, it's like anything that's subjective, right? That even watching it in slow-mo, it's like, if you're a huge BJ fan, you're like, dude, he got super screwed. This is ridiculous. I can't believe the refs are on Mark's side. But if you're a Mark Baginski fan, you're like, oh no, that was a penalty for sure. 100%. He definitely deserved that foul. It was one of those situations where it was that type of close. Now, if you are playing, okay, so that's what I'm saying. I was wondering, since you watched it, what your opinion is now that you went back, and I'm assuming you probably watched that before, maybe multiple times. What your opinion was now on that penalty or fouls? Yeah,
no. Well, so from first person view, like I shot him in like his right arm as soon as he crossed that car wash. But it's hard to see because he's wearing an orange jersey on the camera. And then he's not expecting me to be there. He kind of gets scared and he like I think not really scared, but out of reaction, he just kind of like turns with the one-arm gat and shoots a couple of balls, and then like not meaning for him to hit me or get a couple extra balls to see if the ref has to make a difficult call or not. Call definitely went in my favor, but I feel like he spun on me pretty bad. He's saying because he didn't get shot in the chest or shot in the back, he didn't spin, but he got shot like in the chest and then kind of turned and put his gun pretty much behind him to shoot me. So I think it was the right call. He might think he got screwed, but I think it was the right call. -3, I guess, because he actually did shoot me. I was in -1 when they said -3. I was like, ooh, but I mean, I think it was the right call. There's people that have different opinions about it, but on the camera, it's kind of hard to see when I get shot versus when he gets shot. He doesn't shoot me really until I'm like in the car wash, but I'm from first person. I know I shot him as soon as he passed the car wash. So I had him.
But if you go with -3 for him, and then the 3 extra on the buzzer hit, that's a 6-point swing. But you won the game by 6 points. The final score was 17-23, if I remember correctly. So, again, it's going back. It's tough to think what would have happened differently if. And again, we will be breaking this game down at some point in time thoroughly. But we are going to be doing the Jesse Stevens one just because that's the game that put you into the finals. And I just thought, we'll eventually do both of them. But I want people to see that because that game against Jesse. Because again, when you got a young guy like yourself playing at quarterfinals, sure, there's stress there. But if you lose in the quarters, like do whatever. I mean, that's terrible, but it's not as terrible as losing in the semis because you got that close. Because you just needed to put that victory away, and you're playing against Jesse Stevens. So though I'm highly impressed with what we've seen out of BJ in the past couple seasons, Jesse Stevens is a world champion. I mean, he is. He's played and had a fascinating story. We've had Jesse on the show recently talking about a story. A couple times actually. So if you guys haven't seen those shows, definitely go back and check them out. But he's had a very interesting and kind of dramatic story of trying to be on the edge of greatness and then have to take a step back for whatever reason and then come back. Anyway, so the fact that you did beat Jesse to get into the finals when no one really even knew who the hell you were, on the big paintball stage. Like if you play Texas paintball, sure, but you're 22 years old, you just got into the pro league. Again, when you were sitting literally next to me, I did not know who the hell you were. And now you're going to be playing in the finals and you're going to make it to the finale. And now I've become a fan because the way I thought you handled each one of those games, I just thought was, that's what I want to see out of a young, hungry guy. You want to be respectful, but tenacious. You want to be, talented, but creative. It's fearless, but also thoughtful. And you had all that. And I just think that, I'm very much looking forward to when Diesel hits the field again and I can see you in that 5-man environment. Do you feel more comfortable on the snake side or D side? Like where's your spot normally?
So D side, middle. Yeah, that's definitely, I'm usually the 1 on the D side, and then we picked up some more people. So I'm like 1 or 2 on the D side right now. But Vegas, I pretty much played the 1, like every point. So, I mean, I had, I think as many kills as Nathan up there. So I was contributing for my first pro event. It's pretty big. And I was pretty stoked about it too, that you can actually see like stats because sometimes you shoot people and you don't even know it. So like people just run off. So, yeah, definitely, getting to watch TJ and Brad though over the years, like definitely feel more comfortable on the Dorito side. I can play the snake, I can play the center, but Dorito that's my bread and butter. So.
Okay. I just want people to know where to look for you when we get to when we get back there. And it does appear I'm trying to get Tom Cole on the show for a little bit. It looks. I said this last week that it was going to be this week, but I just talked to Tom today. He's moving some stuff around and he's moving. So anyway, it looks like we're having Tom Cole on the show next week. It does appear that World Cup is going to be happening. He said that he's been talking to the city of Orlando and I'm just crossing my fingers and toes, but it does appear that World Cup is going to be happening. So that's good news. Obviously, we'll see how everything goes with the pandemic. If things get drastically worse, it could change, and no one really knows there, but Florida's been a little bit more open with things. So it does appear that World Cup is going to happen. So that's good news. But again, we are going to be hopefully having Tom Cole on the show next week, probably later in the week, to talk a little bit more about that. But I just wanted people to know when Diesel hits the field again, where they should be looking for you, because I do think you are going to be a rising star. Talk to me a little bit about what it's like to be, because, you know, it was like getting you on the show here. You're like, oh, you know, I got work. I'm going to crank today and try to get done with this. So what do you do? Because this is interesting, because a lot of people are, you know, look at, can you make money playing paintball? Yes. It's incredibly difficult. You need to be really good, and you need to be really paintball famous, because there's multiple ways to make money playing paintball. But I've said this once, and I will keep saying it until it ceases to become a reality. But if you're going to be a pro paintball player, you're either a poster boy for a company, or you're a hired gun for a rich guy. Those are the two ways to become like a true, or you can also be a teacher of the game. But that kind of comes with those two things. If you're not the poster boy or girl, or but really boy, because, you know, those are the ones that have become paintball super famous enough to teach clinics, then you can become a teacher of the game, and you can make money that way too. But I'm just letting everyone know, so there's complete transparency and clarity here as to how you can make money in this game. So there are guys that do just play paintball. It is a handful of dudes. You have to be the elite of the elite in order to actually do that. But you're a dude that we're now talking, you know, it's like I'm watching you play great against BJ to get a couple good breaks, play great against Jesse. Now you're going to be in the finals against either Meter or Clint. But talk to me about your day-to-day and how you got to this point. Like, what do you do to make this side, you know, this thing where paintball is part of your reality and it's part of your life and it's something that you're committed to? Because there's a lot of people coming up that need this knowledge if it's something that they want to do.
Yeah. So I guess the biggest thing that allows me to play paintball is my boss used to play paintball. So like he gives me time off, and is really understanding about, I get you have practices on the weekends. You have, this many events got to go to this year. As long as I give him plenty of time in advance, let him know when dates are. He's cool about me taking time off work. But I work for a audio video company, so we do like high-end home theaters, smart homes, surveillance systems, security systems, pretty much anything like low voltage in a house or in an office. We do it like LEDs. So 9 to 5, I'm grinding it out during the week, and then on the paintball film, same way on the weekends. So, but I run a pre-wire crew. So like in a new home construction, I come in and we'll wire up everything from TVs, speakers, smart panels, security panels, and go from house to house just doing that. So, yeah, I'm a hard worker. So that's try to.
Yeah, good trade to have. Good trade to have. I try to tell people, hey, get a good trade. Again, there's lots of ways to make money in this world, man. But I've known a lot of guys that have played elite paintball or played high level paintball, tournament paintball for a long time that work in the trades, and they make good money, and you know, and they have families, they have homes, nice cars, and they get to play paintball. And I'm like, dude, don't knock the trades. Like, the trades are an excellent way to make a living.
I mean, you don't need a degree to be successful. You can go to trade school, or you can just learn a trade and get on the job training.
On the job.
I mean, there's a lot out there. Yeah. And I was fortunate enough that I played around my boss for a while, and I was going to school, and I was like, this just really isn't, you know, I don't have like a dream job in mind or like a passion job. So I was like, I like to work with my hands. And so I talked to him. I knew he owned this business, and I came out with him, built a theater one day in someone's house. Thought it was really cool. And 3 years later, I'm running a cruise. So it's going well.
That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. Yeah, and maybe one day you'll have your own company. You know, I mean, you're only 22, so sky's the limit on that stuff as far as that is concerned. So let's go in and talk about this Jesse Stevens match. This is the game that you and I are going to be breaking down blow for blow. But so you get through BJ. You gotta wait to see who you're going to be playing. It was Nate Roberts versus Jesse Stevens. Jesse blew Nate out though, man. Like, that was a really solid beating on Nate, who's a hell of a paintball player, and I thought was one of the dark horse guys out there. Yeah, I was just like, Nate's, he was one of the, he was one of the first kids coming out of the AC camp back in the day where I was like, this dude's legit. He's got what it takes. He's, now he's in med school. Really smart guy. And he also played in the beta test, and he excelled in the beta test. Him and Clint Johnson. And so they were playing each other, and I was like, to me, that means they're two dark horse candidates. Like, I don't care if you're doing that well at a format with the way that they play the game. I was thinking, okay, Nate Roberts, Clint Johnson, they could be dark horse dudes. Even with, guys like Meter Ninos in there and Matt Jackson. Obviously, Matt Jackson won the first one. And then Meter making it to the finals with him. So, but Jesse completely dismantles Nate. Nate only really put up he had basically like a kill and then one good round where he put up a, bonus buzzer hit. I think it was bonus buzzer, a buzzer and a kill. Can't remember off the top of my head. But
like one of the last couple points though. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was pretty much all Jesse. So watching that one and knowing you got to play this guy, and Jesse was, I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, and I talked to Jesse about this when we had him on the show, but he was hyped, dude. He was training for this. He was sleeping on a couch out there, like just getting ready for it. When I rolled up to the field after the drive to Texas, he was one of the first guys I saw there, fired up. I mean, he wears a chip on his shoulder, but that chip was like, the size of Mount Rushmore for this one. And I'm like, okay, well, Jesse's coming for it. So when you got by BJ, you got a little, you got a gift, but you hung in there and you did beat him by 6. So I thought, man, this Mark Baginski kid looks pretty good. But then you go play Jesse, and I'm thinking, okay, well, Mark's a big underdog here. So even as good as you looked, knowing how Jesse had completely dismantled Nate, I mean, you went blow for blow with BJ, got a little bit of gift. But, depending on the call, definitely a gift on the buzzer hit. But regardless, Jesse blows Nate out of the water. I'm like, okay, well, this could be a rough one for Mark. But then, so what were you thinking headed in? Obviously, you're a real confident guy, and you have a big chip on your shoulder too. So you were probably, I'm guessing, pretty super confident. But this is not a teammate. Now you're going against the X Factor guy.
No, yeah. And so I know Jesse, he has a big ego. So everyone's always like, you can get in his head, you can play his head, play the mental game with him. So my going into it, I was just talk a bunch of shit and bonus ball him. Then he actually and I know we'll break it down, but he bonus balled me, and then we had some fun stuff happen. But
we've been playing that clip, dude. Because I was like, oh, we got a good old Texas standoff here, dude. We haven't had one of these in years.
That was good fun for sure, and I bet a bunch of the viewers liked it. But yeah, coming into it, I know Jesse's super talented gun skills. It's just like, what are his tendencies going to be? He has a coach. I don't have a coach. So I'm just kind of thinking honestly in my head, I'm just like, fuck this guy. Like I can't think of him as anything special, because if I do, then I've already beaten myself. So I'm just playing him as some other guy that I'm practicing one-on-ones with, and just play hard and don't necessarily worry about what he's doing, because I'm confident in my gun skills. So I don't need to overthink things. It's simple.
Well, it was interesting too, because again, I don't want to, I want people to be able to watch the tactics, because we are going to go intricately into this with slow replays and literally go blow for blow. But this one was crazy. This might be a long tactics one, because it was, you guys played, I think it was 4 rounds, and the score was still 0-0 or 1-0 because of all those fouls, which I thought it was good at that point in time. The referees were, because at a certain point in time, you got to die. Like, look, I've always been a fan of this, and I will always be a fan, and I will always preach this. I really want the players to decide what's happening. I understand that things need to be called, and like I reffed a ton too. But with the referees, is that if things are getting out of hand, then rein it back in. And I did feel that it was probably time for them to start reining it back in for you guys. But it really elongated that match, and it became, and it was, look, yes, we're in Texas. It's going to be disgustingly hot out there. You're on turf. That's going to make it even hotter. And but this was a long one, man. And you guys, it was the longest ultimate shootout. If you haven't seen the match, definitely go check it out. But the time of play was the longest ultimate shootout that we had seen up to that point by far, because you guys had all those fouls, and it was disgusting and crazy in the beginning. It was super fun to watch. But also it's like we're up there too, and I'm just like, look, I can't remember who was up there with me, but I'm like, dude, this is gonna be a long one, man. Like they're going, like it was. I think it was. Looking at my notes, at one point in time, you went 3-4, -1. then 0, and then started getting back up there. But it was just, it was like 3, 4, -1, 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 14, 18, 19, 20. It was just a nasty game, man. It was just a really, really close match. But at the very end, you pulled away from him. So let's just go to the very beginning and just talk about the mentality and when it was getting reset. Lots of fouls were going back. What was going on back and forth? What was going on in your mind?
When they gave us the -5, I thought it was hilarious, but I knew they had to do it because what was going to stop it from happening over and over again, especially like when they have the divisional and amateur matches, like what's to stop those two dudes or women just from blasting each other every single point? That doesn't look the best. So, but once it was -1 to 0, I was like, oh man, this is going to be a long one. But I had been playing ever since Paintball Fit opened back up. I've been out there playing on that same hot turf every weekend leading up to that. Not even really prepping for the Ultimate Shootout. I got a weekend of practice with Meter and Jesse before, and I saw them dying, but I work outside, so like I was fine. I'm like, they're not ready. Like if I can take this into deep water, I think like Jesse's gonna gas himself. I know. I think in the first episode, that's what he said happened. I think he played Meter right, and he said he got gassed. So I know like. I mean, he does a lot of strength training stuff. I don't know what he does for stamina, but I can go the distance. So when it got reset, it was like, all right, here we go, in for the long haul. And then I remember 10 points, and it was like 10-1 or whatever it was, 10-2, whatever it was, and I'm like, damn, I only got 10 points. How like. I need to stop dying. Like, I just need to get some kill streaks, some buzzers, and just get this over with. This is brutal. Like, my feet were on fire. That turf was insanely hot.
Yeah, and it was the semifinals. It was the second of 2 events done in one day. So it was that was when it was just getting disgustingly hot out there. Yeah. So, but so you ended up, so again, you did take the victory there. We are going to be doing that game in the tactics. That's probably going to be a long tactics show, just because it was so many rounds. But that was a really big win for you. So now, obviously, we can't give anything away, but Clint Johnson, Meter Niños. Let's just dissect those 2 players. We'll start with Meter Niños. What are your thoughts on Meter Niños?
Meter's been around for a while. Like, as a kid at the paintball field, he was one of those dudes I looked up to. He was super fast, had really good gun skills, seemed like a cool dude. And then like kind of getting to know him now, still a cool dude. He's got a mind for the game for sure. Gun skills though, like when I practice him, I think Clint has him beat on those. I don't feel like he puts in as much work as Clint does when it comes to drills and stuff like that. I know in the past he did, but as of lately, I'm not sure. I mean, he's world champion. He might be getting a little complacent. I don't know. But I definitely think Clint's the harder working of those 2. So
they also do have conflicting styles because
right.
And styles make gunfights just like styles make fights. And Meter is so experienced, and the way that Meter was able to work and get into the finals against Matt Jackson, he did seem to understand the complexity of the format. And then even against Matt, he made that a hell of a match because he was starting to push and play a little bit more aggressive when he needed to. Matt ended up taking that victory. Clint's a little more balls to the wall, and he's a little bit more reckless. We saw that in his match against Mark Johnson, which is a hell of a match. We broke that one down on the tactics. I thought that was a great look from Mark too, considering that Mark's 44 years old. But still, Clint was one of the guys that it was disappointing when he got knocked out in the quarters because when I was saying it to me after watching that beta test, he was one of the dark horse guys. I said that in episode 1. I was like, Clint's a dark horse guy that could potentially win this thing. Based on what I saw and how he was playing the game on the beta test, and then he was disappointing. So he came into this one much more hungry. We've had Meter on before. But we're definitely going to have him on again. It was very interesting to listen to him break the format down. But yeah, so that's the matchup. That's going to be going down next Monday, the 17th, Monday Night Paintball. Clint Johnson versus Meteor Ninos, and the winner is going to be playing Mark Baginski. So, Mark, I got a couple more questions for you before I let you go. One is that what does it mean to have a chance to be playing for $7,000 for first place at the finale at the end of the year? I mean, that's a decent paycheck hanging over your head if you could somehow. And what a huge dude! If you could go to the finale and win that one, because again, everyone that's in the finals, first and second, they punch their tickets to go into that finale. It looks like we're going to be holding it in Florida. Also, we got another event before I forget that's going to be coming up. So we tried to do we wanted to do the one that was held in Kentucky, the Kentucky Derby, crazy pandemic tournament.
Left-handed open or Kentucky left-handed open, whatever it was. Jeremy.
Yeah, the Kentucky left-handed open. There's going to be another one that's going to be happening at Level Up Field, David Pando's field. It's going to be a live event in September. I got a baby on the way. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I'm going to try. I'm not sure the date yet, but that's something it looks like we're going to be trying to pull off here with Go Sports. So look for that coming down the pipeline. But yeah, we got a lot of more ultimate shootouts in the bag too. But again, Monday Night Paintball, it's Clint Johnson versus Meter Ninos. But talk to me about what it means to have a chance to play for $7,000 at the end of the year.
I mean, it's huge because typically paintball prizes, they're not big payouts. So, and if you do, you have to split them with your team. So the fact that you can play a one-on-one tournament and it's $7,000 for first place, it's huge. Like, I mean, it's like rent for the whole year. So, I mean, it's real big. I mean, it makes everyone want it even more than they already do. It's not just bragging rights. It's actually like, it's a big chunk of change. And even second and third place, they get a good chunk too. So, making it to the semis and then playing, I think it's 2 for second and then 1 for third, but it's big to have a payout like that and it all go to you and not share with your team. It's a big deal. I'm super excited for the opportunity, and I was excited to get the opportunity to play now. And when Greg said that they were going to take the first and or the top 2 out of each episode, I was like, yeah, I'm totally not opposed to that. Let me play for that because I'm all about it.
Yeah. So what do you think about, and then the next thing I got to ask is, what do you think about, because you were actually an ultimate ref on this. It was because, it was just funny because considering that you were one of the most penalized players. So you got a huge benefit of missed calls, and then you were one of the most penalized players in the entire tournament. And then I drive back out to Texas, and lo and behold, who's the ultimate referee for the next series or the next episode? It's the Iceman. I was like, oh, this is perfect, dude. This is perfect. So, again, we can't let anybody know. Yeah, no, it's exactly. I think it's great. But I just want to get your thoughts. It's a different cast. We got Andrew Wyatt, Logan Dyer, Jeremy Zimmerman, Fred Berkeley, Dave Haber, Chad Boucher, Nick Sloviak, Harrison Fry. I thought we saw some really cool games out there. We've had Fred Berkeley on. We had him on last week. We've had Chad Boucher on before, but we'll bring some of these other guys on again too. We've had Harrison Fry on, but I just thought it was a cool cast. What are your thoughts on that cast?
That's actually a really cool lineup because there are people from all over and people that probably haven't really played each other. Like Fred and Cody, that's a great matchup because they're both tall. Being taller, it's a different shot. And usually tall people play against short people because there's not too many tall people in the league. But I like who they brought in. I think, the big names like I think Chad and maybe Harrison are probably the favorites, or probably throw Cody in there too, just because of the teams they play for and how long they've been around. I just don't see Nick as being the best one-on-one player. I feel like he's definitely good in 5-man, but as far as one-on-ones go, I feel like
hold on. He beat Archie Montemayor in a one-on-one, and helped his team win the tournament at the only tournament that we've seen.
But there's 5 other dudes at the start of that point. Were there not?
Well, there were, but at the end, it came down to 1 versus 1, and it was, lo and behold, Archie Montemayor, not exactly a tame one-on-one battler at all. And Nick Sloviak did win that one-on-one. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not disagreeing with you necessarily, maybe a little bit. Okay, yeah, I'm disagreeing slightly. But I'm just saying, I think he's got a shot.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think for sure I don't know. In one-on-ones, he's better than most, yes. But playing Chad, is he better than Chad? I feel like Chad does his homework pretty well. And being on heat, I feel like it's just kind of that extra, like, I can't play on heat and then do shitty out here. So I have to give the nod to Chad there on that.
Well, and Chad also looked outstanding in his one-on-one battle in the Pro Tour against Pat Craft Jr. before Pat Craft Jr. had a disgustingly amazing come-from-behind victory when he was down, I think, 12 points. It's a different format in the Pro Tour. We have all those games up on Go Sports as well, too. But that was a really good look for Chad before Pat's miraculous comeback. So yeah, man, Chad's been working his ass off. Chad doesn't want to just be known as the manager of Houston Heat that gets to play a few points every now and then and run through and shoot 2 dudes in the center. Chad wants to have a more diverse, wants people to understand he has a more diverse game than just that. He doesn't want to be known as a one-dimensional guy. He's been working his ass off for that. And we saw that in the Pro Tour. But again, Nick Sloviak, I mean, yeah, he's known as more of a big gun, work with a huge voice, work as that 2-3, in a 5-on-5 situation. But he did win a one-on-one against Archie Montemayor, one of the best players in the world on any given day. And then Fred Berkeley, Cody Mikowski, we had Fred on last week, talked about how much they are so mirrors of each other. And then Harrison Fry, Andrew Wyatt. I thought it was awesome that Andrew Wyatt came and took this challenge here. Came up damage, DMG. Harrison Fry, definitely the favorite there just because, Harrison Fry has shown us a lot in the pro division the past couple seasons. And then Dave Haber. Yeah, so Dave Haber, I love watching Dave Haber play 5-man paintball. This was another thing we've talked about in previous shows. It's hilarious because when I saw Dave there, I'm like, Dave, playing some one-on-one, huh? Are you any good at one-on-ones? Because I know you're good at the one and the snake, but typically, this is not your forte. And he's like, bro, normally I'm dead at the point in time it comes down to a one-on-one. And he's taking on Jeremy Zimmerman, who's a legend in Texas paintball. So I just thought it was a cool cast. I'm looking forward to everybody watching these matches. Those will be coming at you here after the conclusion. So next week, the 17th, we got Clint Johnson versus Meteor Ninos. Then we got Mark the Iceman Baginski playing the winner of that match, August 24th. And then we'll be jumping into 03. And then after that, 04. And then we're actually planning to do 05 right now, or 005, that I believe is we're going to be filming it in October. So yeah, man, we're just going to have just tons of it's all you can eat ultimate shootout here. There's actually the card for the 17th because we also did under 19s, the pro division, obviously women's division. We also have the masters division as well too. So yeah, man, we're trying to keep you guys filled up with as much content as we can. Again, all the pro tour stuff's online. We got all the ultimate shootout that's going to be coming at you nonstop. We're trying to do the event in sometime in September at Dave Pandos Field Level Up Sports, where Columbus Levo's from. So, and then again, we're going to hopefully be having Tom Cole on next week. Cross my fingers we can finally get him on and figure out, what's going on with the World Cup. They are also, I did talk to Tom today, though. They are going to be doing the 10-man in Chicago. Excited the 10-man paintball's kicking back up. And I'm starting to hear that guys are throwing events all over these, we're starting to get regional events back and going as well, too. Again, we have, also At Home with Ryan Greenspan and San Diego Dynasty. We do the Go Sports live shows on either Wednesday or Thursday, definitely Fridays. We got Mark Johnson coming on tomorrow. So, we're trying to dish you guys as much content as we possibly can. We really appreciate your support. We need it to be able to do this. So, it's my constant plea to everybody out there is please help us keep going with the subscriptions because the more subscriptions we got, the better and more paintball that we can bring to you. So I'm really happy that we're just fighting as hard as we can here in the COVID world. Any last thoughts before we sign off, Mark? I'm become a big fan, bro. I was really impressed at what we've seen out of you so far. I think you got a really bright future in front of you. again, you got a regular ass job. You got your head screwed on straight. You seem to be mentally tenacious when the old guys start messing with you, which having been there myself, and now I'm an old guy, so I get how it goes both ways. But I think you're going to be really good for your team and good for paintball here coming up. So any last thoughts?
I'm just excited. I really hope World Cup and all these other paintball events happen because I'm itching for some competitive paintball right now. Like I got a little fixed with the Ultimate Shootout, but I'm ready to get back out there with my boys and grind. So I'm ready for a season to actually start happening and get back to normal life. So if that's ever a thing again.
Normal life, dude. One of these days we're going to get back to normal life. But we're trying as hard as we can to try to keep it as normal as we can in these crazy times. So everyone stay safe and stay sane out there. Mark, Ice, thank you so much for sitting in with me. I really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, tune in again August 24th. Mark Baginski, the Iceman, is going to be taking on the winner of Clint Johnson and Meter Ninos, which is going down this Monday. Matty Marshall, Mark Baginski, Go Sports Live. I'll see you guys tomorrow with Mark Johnson. Welcome to Go Sports Tactics. I'm Matty Marshall, and I got Mark Johnson here from AC Diesel. Going to be breaking down a match he had in the quarterfinals at Ultimate Shootout.
When we got matched up, we're like, we can't lose this one. If there's an opportunity, I'm going to attack, and that's what I wanted to do in this match here. This particular deal right here, I knew he was going up to the center. I had to counter that, or he could walk right up in there to the center of the field and hit that buzzer.
So you go left-handed real quick, and then you cut back and then switch hands and go right for that bonus buzzer.
If they're going for the buzzer, you need to start moving for the buzzer as well, because there's an opportunity there. All you do is go super low and you go right for that buzzer. It's a 80% chance you're going to get it.
You're going blow for blow with one of the most aggressive dudes that we have in this competition. You actually get to the buzzer before he does here, and then he's the one that trips and falls.